What is up, car addicts? So a lot of you guys have been asking me to make a video as to how much the content in this new The Contract DLC is going to cost. So in this video we're going to be making some predictions and estimates based on the current GTA economy and the prices of similar recent content as well. So this video will be broken into a few parts: the properties, the cars, the weapons, and of course the clothing. So let's start off with the properties. We seem to be getting a new property slash business, and this is proven by the garage that was shown in the trailer with a lot of the new cars in it. This is rumored to be in the same agency building as Franklin or in a different location as debated by members of the GTA forums. But anyways, I predict the price range of this new property is going to be around the price of the CEO office and the nightclubs. And if we take a look at the prices for these, they can get expensive very quick depending on the upgrades. Most of them start between $1.5 and $3 million, and with upgrades you can easily get one to about $5 million. So I'm going to estimate that the potential new property is going to be about $5 million with upgrades. Moving on to the cars. So at the time recording this, we have only 6 new cars that have been teased by Rockstar. The first one is a new SUV, which seems to be based on the Porsche Cayenne. I think the best comparable vehicle for this is another luxurious performance SUV, and that would be the Rebla GTS. That one costs just under $2 million, so I'm going to estimate that new Porsche Cayenne inspired SUV is going to cost about the same, $1.2 million. Moving on to our second car, the Enus Jubilee, which is based on the Rolls-Royce Cullinan. If we look closely at the screenshot, this vehicle does appear to have armor plating on the doors, so there might be 2 different variants of this vehicle, or possibly that could be an actual upgrade. Nonetheless, this is a high-end luxury SUV, and I think the Landstalker XL might be a decent guide for it, but definitely a lot more money since the Jubilee is definitely a higher class vehicle being inspired by a Rolls-Royce. I'm going to estimate about $1.6 million for this one. Continuing to our third car, the Dubachi Champion, which is based on the Aston Martin Victor. This will most likely be in the sports class, but it's also possible it could be in the supercar class as well. Anyways, I think the most comparable vehicle price-wise to this one is the Morgan, which costs over $2 million. And I think that's right around where this car is going to cost. I'm going to estimate about $2.2 million for this one. Moving on to our fourth car, we have a supercar which seems to be based on the SSC Tuatara, and I can tell you right now this one is not going to be cheap. They're most likely going to value this one around the price of the Krieger, so I'm going to estimate about $2.9 million for this car. Continuing to our fifth car, this one is still currently unknown, but as I stated in the trailer breakdown video, based on some key characteristics such as the door handles, the mirrors, the dash, the seats, and the quarter panel curvature around the convertible top area, I believe this is going to be a cabrio version of the Comet S2, which means this car would be based on the Porsche 992 Cabriolet. And if we look at the price of the normal Comet S2, which is just under $1.9 million, I'd say this new convertible variant will probably be around $100,000 more, so I estimate it will be priced at just under $2 million, probably $1,990,000, something like that. And lastly, our sixth car is another supercar which seems to be based on the Lamborghini Sienne. This is definitely another one that's not going to be cheap. I estimate a similar price range to the Krieger, maybe a little less than the other supercar. I'm going to estimate about $2.8 million for this one. And of course, there are definitely more vehicles they're holding off on showing. A lot of people, including myself, believe we might get a Charger Hellcat widebody inspired car in game, since Franklin's OG Buffalo in story mode was based on a 2012 Dodge Charger. He might be hopefully rocking the new version in GTA Online. I think it makes a lot of sense and would be an awesome homage to his character's car. I think there's definitely a ton of cool new cars that they still haven't showed yet, and I honestly think the 6 they showed is just the tip of the iceberg. I think we're gonna get a lot of good cars in this update, a lot of expensive ones as well. Anyways, this DLC is probably gonna have about 15 to 16 cars total, including the drip feed cars. So if we average about 10 extra cars that we haven't seen yet, we can make an average estimate of about 1.2 million per car, which totals about $12 million for those unknown cars. Also, we have to factor in the upgrades for the cars as well. Usually it costs about $300,000 to max out a car, but judging by the armor plating being visible on the Enos Jubilee and the Dubachi Champion, we could easily add a couple $100,000 for those types of upgrades on those cars, plus some other unknown ones as well. So to fully upgrade the 15 to 16 new cars, I'm giving it a rough estimate of about $6 million to fully upgrade all of them. Now moving on to weapons, we have 2 new weapons confirmed by Rockstar, which are the Compact EMP Launcher and the Stun Gun. I think these 2 are going to be around the prices of the Up and Atomizer and the Unholy Hellbringer, which cost about $500,000 each. However, I think that the EMP launcher will cost just a little bit more. I'm going to estimate about $600,000 for the EMP launcher and about $500,000 for the stun gun. And lastly, in terms of clothing, we usually get a few different articles of clothing for each DLC, and usually the outfits are the more expensive ones, especially when they're priced at like $100,000 each. So I'm going to guess about $1 million to buy all the potential new clothes and accessories. So adding this all together, the grand total I'm estimating for this contract DLC, including the drip feed content, is between $35 and $40 million to buy and max out every single item in the update. And if you're looking for a cost without the drip feed content, so only day one content, just go ahead and cut that estimate in half, so roughly $15 to $20 million for day one content. But overall, it's definitely a lot of money, but with Cayo Perico Solo giving you roughly $1.5 million every hour, I don't think it's that bad of a money grind, especially if you have businesses running in the background at the same time. So again, definitely try to get as much money as you can for this DLC, guys. And either way, if you only plan on buying maybe 2 or 3 vehicles and the new property by itself, you're still going to need about $10 million to buy those. So if you don't have at least $10 million in GTA, I'd definitely get on that grind for this week. Anyways guys, hope you enjoyed. Definitely let me know down below in the comments what are your estimates for the DLC and costs for vehicles and such. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one.